If you collapsed in the middle of the wild, surrounded by lions, do you really think they'd let you go? Or would they see you as their next meal? Watch this unbelievable story, and let us know what you think in the comments. The Botswanan sun blazed overhead, its scorching rays beating down on the endless savanna. Liam, a seasoned wildlife ranger, wiped the sweat from his brow as he moved cautiously through the tall, dry grass, eyes constantly scanning for any trace of poachers. Reports had come in. Illegal traps were being set deep in the Okavango Delta, putting the lions he had sworn to protect at deadly risk. His rifle was strapped across his back, but he prayed he wouldn't have to use it. As he continued on, he noticed faint footprints in the dust. Human, not animal, leading toward a distant grove of trees. His heart began to pound. Poachers were close, but the heat was relentless. Every step grew heavier. His throat burned with thirst. His radio crackled faintly, then went dead. No signal. Still, he pressed forward, determined to find the traps before sunset. What he didn't realize was that his body was nearing collapse. He'd faced danger before, but this time was different. The unforgiving sun bore down on Liam's back as he pushed through the brittle grass. His canteen was nearly dry. Each breath felt like fire in his lungs. Hours had passed. He was exhausted, drained. His boots dragged through the dust. His vision blurred from dehydration. He wiped sweat from his eyes and glanced at his radio. Still nothing. No help, no backup, just him alone. Then, up ahead, he spotted it. A rusty wire snare hanging from a low tree branch, the kind used to catch lions. His pulse spiked. The poachers had been here recently. He crouched, scanning the area for fresh tracks. But then a sudden wave of dizziness hit. His knees buckled. The world spun. He had to turn back. He had to. And then everything went black. His body collapsed under the shade of an acacia tree. His breath came in shallow gasps. His limbs refused to move. Darkness overtook him. And that's when the growl came. A deep, low, bone-shaking growl cut through the silence, pulling Liam back from the edge of unconsciousness. His body ached. His throat was sandpaper dry, but some instinct forced his eyes open. Shapes moved in the dimming light. Golden, powerful shapes. His mind struggled to make sense of it. A lion, massive, majestic, stood just a few feet away, staring straight at him with intense amber eyes. Beside him, a lioness stood still, her muscles taut with alertness. Behind her, a small cub peeked out, eyes wide. Liam's heart pounded, but he couldn't move, couldn't run. He was completely helpless. If the lions chose to attack, he wouldn't survive. He braced for the worst, for claws, for teeth, but nothing happened. Instead, the male lion took a step forward, sniffed the air, and let out a soft, almost gentle huff. The lioness followed suit. Then she sat down, her cub curling up beside her. They weren't hunting him. They were watching him, guarding him. Confusion swirled in Liam's mind, but the weight of exhaustion dragged him back under. As he drifted again into darkness, one stunning thought remained. These lions weren't his predators. They were his protectors. His thoughts blurred in and out. But somewhere in the haze, a memory surfaced. A memory from years ago in this very reserve. He was young then, new to the job, when he heard the desperate cries of a lion cub in distress. He had rushed toward the sound, finding a tiny, terrified cub caught in a poacher's snare. Nearby, its mother, a fierce lioness, paced back and forth, roaring with anguish. Liam had known the risk, but he couldn't leave that cub to suffer. Carefully keeping his rifle on his back, he approached with hands raised to show he meant no harm. The lioness snarled, but didn't charge. Liam knelt, heart pounding, and began to cut the snare with his knife. The wire snapped, and the cub stumbled back to its mother. She sniffed him, nuzzled him, and then looked straight at Liam, not with threat, but with understanding, and now, years later, lying helpless beneath that tree, it hit him. Could the lion standing over him be that same cub now grown? Could that forgotten bond have survived all this time? The golden light of afternoon stretched across the plains. Insects hummed in the thick air. Liam lay still, too weak to move, but alert now, aware of the lions around him. The massive male, calm, majestic, sat close by, his glowing eyes scanning the horizon. The lioness and her cub were curled beside him, but their ears twitched with every sound. They were keeping watch. At the edge of the clearing, a pair of hyenas appeared, creeping, grinning, their eerie giggles cutting through the quiet. Normally, Liam would reach for his weapon, but he had no strength left, and he didn't need it. The lion lifted his head, let out a deep, thundering growl. The hyenas paused, then slunk away. It was then that Liam finally understood. He wasn't being stalked. He was being protected. Whether it was instinct, recognition, or something far deeper, these lions had made their choice. And now his life was in their hands. He was completely at the mercy of the wild. Yet somehow he had never felt safer. That thought lingered in his mind as exhaustion pulled him back under, and he slipped into a restless sleep beneath the golden canopy of the savannah sky. Back at the Okavango Ranger Station, a rising tension gripped the air. Liam hadn't reported in. Every minute of silence stretched the worry further. Time in the wild is unforgiving. His closest friend, Jacob, quickly organized a search. The dangers were real. Poachers, dehydration, or even wild animal attack, they couldn't waste a second. Armed with rifles and accompanied by tracking dogs, the search team set off across the parched grasslands. The sun beat down mercilessly as hours dragged on. Then a ranger called out he'd spotted something. Footprints fresh, leading toward a lone tree in the distance. They rushed forward but came to a sudden stop, eyes widening in disbelief. A pride of lions lay near the tree, calm, unmoving, and alert. Jacob's fingers instinctively tightened around his rifle. Had the lions found Liam first? Was he still alive? Then something unexpected happened. The massive male lion, Aslan, slowly turned his head toward the tree, almost like he was pointing the way. Jacob's heartbeat thundered in his chest as he moved closer, dropping to his knees beside Liam. He pressed two fingers to his friend's neck. There it was, a faint, steady pulse. "He's alive," Jacob shouted, relief cracking through his voice. The team sprang into action, gently positioning Liam onto a stretcher. Yet, as they moved, Aslan didn't budge. The lion stood only feet away, his golden eyes fixed on them, not with menace, but quiet presence. The rest of the pride lingered nearby, equally still. Not one growled, not one moved aggressively. Then Aslan stepped forward, slow and deliberate. Jacob froze, bracing for the worst, but instead the lion released a deep, resonant huff, like a sigh, and stepped aside. The message was unmistakable. Go. They had guarded Liam through the night, and now they were letting him go. As the rangers made their way to the vehicle, Jacob looked back one last time. Aslan stood tall, unmoving, his silhouette strong and majestic beneath the rising sun, a silent guardian, a protector. And in that quiet moment, an unbreakable bond was acknowledged without a single word. Liam stirred as the low rumble of the engine and the soft murmur of voices pulled him from the haze of unconsciousness. His body ached and his throat was as dry as cracked earth, but he was alive and he was safe. Squinting into the morning light, he saw Jacob's face leaning over him, relieved, worn, and smiling. "We thought we lost you," Jacob said, his voice thick with emotion. Fragments of memory came flooding back, the searing heat collapsing beneath the tree. And then the lions. "The lions," Liam whispered, his voice hoarse. "They didn't hurt me." Jacob exchanged glances with the others. "No," he said softly. "They protected you." Liam lay there stunned, flooded with disbelief and a deep, humbling gratitude. Whatever had happened out there, it was nothing short of a miracle. He hadn't survived in spite of the lions, but because of them. Weeks later, Liam was back on patrol. The landscape looked the same, but everything had changed. And then he saw him, Aslan, standing atop a rocky ledge in the distance. The wind played through the lion's golden mane as their eyes met. Not as predator and prey, not even as strangers, but as two souls tied by something rare, something unspoken and real. Liam had entered the wild with a mission to protect. But in the end, it was the wild that had protected him. In that sacred moment, fear gave way to trust, and trust gave birth to a bond that would never fade. Nature has a way of reminding us, sometimes in the most unexpected ways, of the profound connections between man and animal. If this incredible journey touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Helping Hub for more powerful stories of survival, compassion, and the raw beauty of the wild. Stay with us for more unforgettable adventures.